What up, my guys? Welcome to another show, man. The NBA tip-off show is Thursday. We're trying to make it a money-making Thursday like every day. What's up with you, my guy? Shark, everything cool with you?
Absolutely. February 10th, 2022, trade deadline past 3 p.m. Eastern. A lot of moving parts. I know people are super intrigued with that. It really re-energizes a lot of fan bases. And, of course, this particular deadline, more interesting than most. We will say that. Of course, a beautiful card today. 7 games on the docket. Actually, 6, excuse me. Jay Money, lead the way, and let's get into it.
Yeah, you know me, I'm all business, man. We can talk about the games if you like to. We can speak on some trades though real fast. Obviously, it's trade deadline today. It already passed. So if you wanted to speak on anything real quick, like I said, I don't really care to. The guy James, I don't even really want to speak his last name. I don't respect the guy, but obviously James Harden went over there to Philadelphia. We'll see if he turns up now, right? We'll see if he does your hamstring still hurt? Like, what, you're afraid to ask for a trade, but you want to get. Don't get me started, guys. But Ben Simmons, I am excited to see if what he brings back here. They traded away Steph Curry as well. I don't agree with it. Traded away their backup center. I think it was a win for the Nets. That's what I'll say, Shark. What you thinking, my guy?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think it's just a snapshot sometimes to when you're totally handcuffed by a player that won't play for you. Ben Simmons being obviously the example before Harden became tyrannical in the last 25 games this season. But, I mean, Philly's been trying to get rid of this guy for, a calendar year now. And we don't really know what went awry with this kid. Obviously, he grew up in Australia. His dad was playing pro ball out there, LSU product, #1 overall pick, all this stuff. But it's like, what the hell happened? If anything, I'm just happy that he gets a second chance. I think he'll flow well with Kyrie. Kyrie is obviously a pretty cerebral guy, a connected guy. I think he's obviously a lot more forgiving than people want to give him credit for. Real thoughtful human being. So I think it's going to work out well for both teams, actually. I think James Harden getting in there with Joel Embiid could work. I think Embiid obviously just hanging out down low, pick and pop. Harden just being able to control the rock will be good for him as well. So I think it's a win-win ultimately.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I like what the Nets did there, man. But we'll go ahead and get to some trades today. Like I say, Porzingis did leave as well. Obviously me being a Mavs fan. At first, I just saw Dinwiddie versus for Porzingis, basically the same type of players. Two players that were that's basically a shell of themselves and very injury prone as well. I mentioned Dinwiddie's not been playing back to backs right now. So but when they add in Bertans with that as well, a 3-point sniper off the bench, I like that as well, especially with us having Tim Hardaway Jr. going for a while. So hopefully we get to working with Bertans, get that shot back working, get Dinwiddie moving off the ball. He will look different because he won't have the ball in his hands so much. It's basically a catch and shoot type of player, wing player coming off the bench. So I like the looks there. He's not a point guard. I don't know why Wizards had him at the point guard, but let's get to today's games, man. That's what we're here for. That's what you guys are here for. We're just trying to get some cash, right? I would go straight to the streets of Washington, but we're going to go in the order of rotation numbers. You dig what I'm saying? Trying to keep it professional, Shark. First game up, we're going to the streets of Detroit. Grizzlies up against the Pistons here. Should anyone be looking to bet against the Grizzlies anytime soon here, Shark? I know it's Grizzlies or nothing for me. Pretty simple here.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I mean, this is just not where you're trying to gamble. Of course, the Pistons did make a couple moves. I got Marvin Bagley coming in there. I like that trade for them, too. Of course, he was just out there in Sacramento rotting away. This guy's a great talent. He's a great talent. He shouldn't be sitting on the bench, the 12th man on that roster. It's ridiculous. Of course, there was all sorts of stuff. You remember going back to last year, Bagley and Fox's dads beefing on social media. Anyway, he gets out of Sac. Now he goes to Detroit. So he goes from one small market to the next. Maybe it's some other life he will get to play for the Knicks or the Sixers. But staying the course here, Memphis at -11 is obviously your line number. Memphis is in a bit of a funky spot. As much as you might want to autopilot this -11 chalk special, if you go back to the last 3 times they had a 3-game road trip, they did tank the first game of those sequences all 3 times. One was to the Dubs, one was to the Bucks. But a corollary I will give you, they did lay down to the Sixers and lost in overtime when the Sixers did not have their players. You get Detroit here in a revenge game. You get a funky spot for Memphis. They do play at Charlotte next, at New Orleans to close out this trip. Again, this is super tough to cap. It's really brutal stuff. just be aware this is not exactly your ultimate motivation spot for Memphis tonight.
Exactly. No, I'm right there with you on that. And personally, I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons cover this game. I'm not putting money on it. I mean, I'm not betting the Grizzlies as well on with laying 11 points on the road. And it's another one that you could have got this one earlier. I believe it opened up at -10. So this you catching the ass end of the line as well. It's I'd like to say I'm not betting against the Grizzlies right now, though. It's simple. So you worry about the motivation, but you worry about the Pistons' motivation as well. They're not going anywhere, but could possibly be a Super Bowl type of game. Stand far away from this one. Let's talk about the aforementioned Nets over here. You dig what I'm saying? We got going to the streets of Washington, D.C. Got the Wizards here. They traded away Dinwiddie, traded away Aaron Holiday. He was the only point guard they had. Now, they did get Ish Smith over there from Charlotte, but he won't be in today's game. They traded away Harrell as well, Shark. This is the big thing here. When will the Nets get off the schneid? Did they finally get Harden the curse away, right? So both of these teams are bet against right now. I must say, though, for this game, I know early show before the trades, I was saying Wizards or nothing. Maybe the Nets, maybe KD give a call to Kyrie. Obviously, this is a road game, so he'll be playing. Maybe give him a call. All right, Harden gone. His fat ass gone now, man. Come on, let's start balling. So it's actually Nets or nothing for me. Now, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the Nets come out here and ball out and get this win, and the Wizards as well, another team that's in disarray here. So tough game, but I would lean Nets here, Shark.
No, you said it. I had the exact same reaction. I was thinking Washington earlier, but then as soon as Harden got moved, you do think it's some sort of weight lifted off their shoulders.
Right.
And when you see a team of this quality, of course, without Kevin Durant, it's hard to say they're that high quality, particularly without bigs and any sort of depth. Like if you were watching those games they just played on the West Coast, the one thing that really stands out is just their lack of professional depth. They're really an empty roster after their top 4 players. And of course, that is what happens when you have a stacked, top 3 guys, a big 3. It's hard to fill around with pros. It really takes a lot of, crafting from the general manager position, which has not gone very well here at all. But now that James Harden is gone, you do think to yourself, L9, Wizards, also a Crater Zone team. This probably would be the spot that Brooklyn would win this game. But again, somebody said in the chat, my man Dennis Gomez, I think from New York, shout out to you for great interactions always. This game is big backwood. And I like that. Funny thing to say.
Roll that gas up.
we never thought we'd be saying that about Nets Wizards here on a Thursday night in February, but this is definitely going to be a backwood spot. We don't know what's going on here. Players moving all over the grid. If you're gambling on this, I suggest you go down to a Gamblers Anonymous meeting and see what's really going on. Jokes aside, though, this is going to be a tough game to cap. Nothing for me.
Yeah. Man, go get some lottery tickets. You think what I'm saying? No, but in all honesty, I wouldn't be a bit surprised to see the Nets come out with some fire. But like Shark said, obviously still don't have a ton. My thing with the Nets is the coach. I feel like the Nets, even with them getting Ben Simmons and all this, you got to get a new coach out there. This isn't working. He's not motivating the team. His team is not running plays, just doing this some pick and roll little BS, man. So we'll see if maybe Harden's going. Now they have some fire, but maybe like I said, KD had a FaceTime call with the team. Nets the only way I could look here, man. But good God, these guys here. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Steve Nash. I feel like they have to fire him to get to the next level, and it'll really show in the playoffs as well when you really have to run some plays half court. We'll see what happens, but I'm not a fan of this guy, Steve Nash. Nets are nothing for this better. Let's go over here to the streets of New Orleans here. We want to get some seafood. You dig what I'm saying? Maybe spicy seafood. But you do have the Heat here versus the Pelicans here, Shark. Last game of a 6-game road trip for the Heat, but they are they did have 2 days off of rest. They are 8-0 straight up and 6-2 with 2 days off of rest here. What are you thinking here? Do the Pelicans keep it rolling, or do CJ McCollum come in there and mess things up?
I think he does mess it up briefly. And on a suddenly not so casual Thirsty Thursday, February 10, 2022, trade deadline day, one official play. Miami Heat buy hat is engaged. You have to go through what's going on here. Obviously, this is an out-of-conference sequence. Not a big rivalry spot, not a lot of information. But if we go back through the last 3, really interesting stuff. Go back to early season last year. Miami did lay 3 points at home and win 111-98. Then they came on the road, and the line stuck. It should have come down to pick. They were -2, and they beat them 103-93. Then this year, it came back to Miami on a strong 6.5, and Miami won the game 113-98. So it was almost identical score. Last year, 111-98. This year, 113-98. Now, you go from 6.5 to 4.5. It is showing strength. And what are you looking at here? You're looking at what Miami does in the center of the country against these back end type of teams. Pelicans have shown a ton of growth, and they will probably make the playoffs this year in the play-in game. But without a lot of players and moving parts, I would categorize them tonight as a back end type of roster. The last time we had this position, we had them to blow out the Spurs. And what did they do? They blew out the Spurs. They also handled the Rockets by 10. They handled the Thunder by 13. And one final corollary point, the last time we faded the Pelicans at home correctly with Boston minus 6.5, they won by 10. New Orleans comes in here 5-0 ATS last 5, a 4-game winning streak. They have new parts. They shipped a couple guys out. Hart's gone. Nikhil Walker-Alexander's gone. Satoransky. And a pick that we never knew who he was is also gone. And you get guys coming in here from Portland, McCollum, Snell, and Nance. It's going to be all over the place. I think Miami gets it done tonight. The line's telling a story. And honestly, Pelicans are a little hot right now, a little hotter than they should be. Miami minus 4.5, 1 unit official.
Yeah, I got you, my guy. I couldn't talk you off. Well, I mean, I could, but I'm not on it officially. So, like I said, I'm not gonna hate on the play. I hope you cash, my guy. It's not something I'm on. Hey, everybody in the chat, man, y'all tripped out right now, man. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe real quick. Hey, they showing out in the chat, man. But let's get to this next game. Let's go up here to the streets of Houston real quick, man. You got the Raptors versus the Rockets here. Early on, like I said, Raptors are nothing for me. Van Fleet is out. They still do have the depth and the basketball minds to come in here and still smack the Rockets up. So it's a tough spot for me. I'm not landing the points. It's Raptors are nothing for me, even without Van Fleet. Shark, like anything here?
Oh, this is tough. This is real tough. I would lean Houston. If you go back to last year, something I thought was particularly interesting. Toronto did win and cover at home on a -6, and then it came up in strength to 8.5 on the road. And they did lose outright in Houston last year by 8 points as an 8.5-point favorite. And you start to zoom in on why. It's very similar to this. That was also a 3rd and 4 road back-to-back off a sequence of reasonable efforts. Of course, Toronto comes in here. We mentioned this yesterday. They're only 4 games back of the 1 seed in the East. Mm-hmm. And they have been fantastic on the back leg of 3rd and 4s all year. But one thing I encourage people to look at, the actual nature of those, most of those covers on the 3rd leg were off of tanks the previous night. Not a great play up spot, which of course they demolished Oklahoma City last night. The major difference here with their effort last night, that was a revenge game within this season where the line was coming up 7.5 to 10 on the road, showing them strength. This is coming down from 8.5 to 8. Van Vliet's out. Dubs 7, 3rd and 4 back-to-back. This is pretty tough sledding here tonight. I wouldn't be surprised if Houston kept this one close.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, I'm not staying so far away from the Rockets, man. They're doing the fire sale. They got Schroeder over there. They'll likely be moving him. This team doesn't want any vets over there. They're not trying to win games right now. I'm staying for it. If you like the Rockets, I really, in all honesty, I'd suggest probably just staying off the game. That shit will really piss you off, man. This team can go up by 10 points, but when they lose the lead and they get down, they can literally go up by 10 and get smacked by 20 points here. So, like I say, Raptors, one of those teams that just play harder than everyone else. I can understand the Rockets maybe keeping it close, but personally, I'm staying so far away from the Rockets, man. You watch this game, you guys will see. But anything can happen, right? Raptors not in a good spot, but they are 8-1 against the spread last 9 back-to-backs, guys. Let's go over here to the streets of Dallas real quick. We got the Clippers versus the Mavs here, Shark. Obviously, the Clippers, they had some trades as well. It's taking a little time for them to get acclimated to their new guys off the bench here. The Mavs just made a trade. They won't have Porzingis is already out, so I mean, it didn't really move the needle here. But it's Mavs are nothing for me here. It's simple. I'm not looking toward. I know we hate the Clippers. Any chance we get, we will smack them up. So it's Mavs are nothing for me here, Shark.
Yeah, I would lean Dallas. This is a Dallas line number. Of course, you go back early season, they played 2 straight games in crypto.com. The first one, Luka did not play. Clippers were laying 5.5, 6. They did cover. The very next game, I believe, was a Sunday afternoon. The line came down towards Dallas in the revenge game. Dallas did win outright 112 to 104 in overtime. Now the line flips a large 9.5 points in the direction of Dallas. And I think you're seeing what we talked about actually going back a week or two ago. The Clippers had caught a lot of wind against Eastern opponents on that long road trip. Now they've come back to earth. Now they're 0-4 ATS last 4. They're showing signs of really cratering down. They just got absolutely hammered by Memphis. And as you mentioned, now Dallas is really starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel in terms of the playoff race in the West. They can really make a move here and get that 3 or 4 seed potentially. Dallas is going to want to show up here. The line's all over Dallas. You guys know how much the Clippers take my money, so I'm always a little apprehensive when the Clippers are involved, particularly off of losses. Dallas number, I don't know. Tough game here.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. Like I say, it's Mavs are nothing for me here. This Clippers team, 0-4 against the spread last 4 games. Like I say, the Mavs, they got to stack up wins. You got to stack up wins versus these Western Conference teams too. The Clippers were playing hot for a while. Now they're starting to come back down to their average. Had real point guard questions off the bench as well. Not a ton of scoring or ball distribution. So Mavs should be able to clean these guys up. I must say, I did stay off the game. I didn't feel comfortable with laying the 6.5. The line is strong for him, but me personally, I thought that it would have been closer to 4.5. So see what happens here. Definitely rooting for my Mavs. Let's go over here to the streets of Phoenix here, Shark. I'm liking the Suns today. It's my only play today. It's the only game that I care about. Suns -3. Revenge game, revenge spot, playoff revenge, finals revenge here. Give me the Suns. You look at the Bucks. I said the other day, the Bucks have been high. You look at the games they've been playing. They've been playing against terrible defenses. That's why these games been flying over, and that's also why they've been looking so good offensively. When they go up against a real defense like the Raptors or even the Nuggets for that matter, who smacked them up 136-100 at the house. This is 4th game in 6 nights for the Bucks, all on the road. You do have the Suns coming home off of a tough 4-game road trip, but they've won 14 of the last 15 games. They win in any type of spots. There's no letdown spots for the Suns. Why? They play harder than everyone else. The Bucks are facing a real defensive team. The Suns also want to right the ship. Probably been thinking about this shit all summer. You kicked us out of the finals. Let's get back in the gym better than ever. Come back. This is the first time facing off since then. Give me the Suns here, -3. Revenge game, Jay Sharp.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. Devin Booker's had some great quotes about what they learned from that series, and he's just somebody that I like listening to. And I mean, obviously, Chris Paul has a great professional influence over almost anybody he comes into interaction with. But Devin Booker really is a pro's pro, even at this young point of his career. And he was talking about the finals, and he said, we just purely were not paying attention to details enough. And he was saying that the playoff basketball is just so much closer window type of stuff. You can't let anything go. And you've seen it this year. I mean, they've been just so unregulated in a very good way this year. They are just ready to dominate. And of course, you get what basically is a quadruple revenge game. Of course, that finals, they did go up 2-0. They won both game 1 and 2 at home, then did lose 2 in Milwaukee, lost game 5 at home, and of course lost game 6, 105-98, when the Bucks went going away with the title. But you get the ultimate motivation spot. Jay, you're rarely wrong on these. These playoff revenge spots are the absolute peak motivation spots. 10 p.m., Footprint Center, Phoenix, Arizona, -3. I couldn't talk you off this one. I might sprinkle personally until.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the only thing that I like to go with here. Absolute peak motivation. I always say, guys, nothing's guaranteed. The Bucks, there's some ballers. They're moving some shit over there right now. And I'll be honest, I don't like the fact that the Suns are coming back off that 4-game road trip, but this is a spot that I know that they have circled on their calendar. I don't think that they'll just come in here unmotivated. That's one thing that I don't see happening. So I'll take my shot with the Suns here. I definitely think they come out here and win this game by double digits. They're battle tested as well. Just win the toughest road back-to-backs, Chicago to Philly, and they still handle business where even everyone was on Philly in that game. I told you, don't bet against the Suns, guys. This is a one-way team right now. Like Shark told me, we see something different with this team. These fuckers want to win the finals this year, and they're trying to mow everybody down. It look like they're trying to break a record or something out there, guys. Motivation, revenge, passion for the game, playing defense, one of the best defensive teams the Bucks have faced. Give me the Suns here, -3, top look of the day for me. Last game up. Let's go over here to the streets of Golden State here, Shark. San Francisco, right? We got the Warriors laying 9 points versus the Knicks. I feel something funny about this game. Like I said, I'll wait for maybe see if everybody's going to play. We know that Clay is coming back. Maybe they try and rest someone else, though. But I'd be looking at Warriors early in this one, full game-wise. I'm not laying that close to double digits on a back-to-back coming from Utah, Shark. And RJ Barrett is out for the Knicks, guys. So let's see what happens in this one.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. You feel something funny in this game. Pretty much whenever the Knicks are involved, there's something funny in the game. Like, this team is just so unbelievably unpredictable. Of course, we did fade them correctly in the opening game of this trip against the Lakers. Then they proceeded to get backdoored by Utah and not cover by 1 point, and then got absolutely hammered by Denver on a 3rd and 4 altitude back-to-back, which was absolutely the bottom out point for this trip. So now they get a day off, they reboot, they go back out to the West Coast, no altitude. You get a revenge game. Dubs did take care of them at Madison Square Garden, 105-96 on a -5.5. We talk about this all the time. When you're 5.5, 6 on the road, you come back 8.5, 9 home. That is ultra stock averaging. They're not telling you any transparency. And you get the Dubs here on a 3rd and 4 back-to-back off a blowout loss in Utah last night. You got to question their energy coming in here tonight. The Dubs are not one of those teams like the Raptors who, when they tank the front end, just come back with the energy necessarily. The energy is scattered here. And as you said, RJ Barrett's out. Knicks got a lot of stuff going on in that locker room right now. Of course, they did not make a trade. Knicks Twitter is having panic attacks, heart attacks, whatever you want to call it. It is ugly in the New York basketball streets today on the Madison Square Garden camp. And it's going to be tough here. I think this game could go either way. I think 9 is razor sharp. And as you mentioned, I just think the Knicks could somehow scrap together a cover here, to be honest. I don't like it at all.
Yeah, it would. The main thing would be that it's a fatigue spot for the Warriors. I'm not laying close to double digits when they're not even the more rested team. Did they get smacked up last night? They did, but they're translate to more. You want to take them early if you like the Dubs here. You want them to come out hot first quarter, first half back at the house, not necessarily full game. The problem with taking the Knicks is, do they care about a full 48 minutes? No. Julius Randle making all type of questionable plays. They were trying to trade away Cam Reddish. They were about to get rid of Burks. Keep in mind this as well, guys. When players were thinking they were about to get traded, it still messes with their head, messes with their psyche. So Burks, they thought that they were about to be traded, but instead they're staying. Randall, who knows? They tried their best to shop him. Nobody wanted him. So never know what these guys are thinking in their head, saying like, you guys didn't even want me anymore. You dig what I'm saying? So tough game for me. If everyone is in for the Warriors, I would look first quarter, first half, though, for me. Mainly a bounce back spot after them basically a no-show in the second half last night here, Shark. Let's get to some free plays, free NBA picks as always. I will mention some college basketball picks as well, guys. Make sure you go check out wagertalk.com. There's all type of good stuff over there. Free picks, Wager Talk odds screen with money percentages, comparing lines from like 10 different books. Free picks over there. Like I say, you can also use promo code J1 if you'd like to get any picks or packages over there for less than $1. Shark, break them off with your official play, my guy.
Yeah, one play, 7:30 p.m. Miami Heat road locker room -4.5. All details in the video. We appreciate you guys watching, desiring, dominating, and respecting with us always. As we grow this channel, we want to give you guys a shout because truly, as Jay says, and I'll say it again, there's no show without you guys. You guys, your interactions in the comment booth here are fantastic. Just the competitive fire you have, good, bad, or indifferent per side, is powerful stuff. Never change, and we won't change for you either. Jay Money, a pleasure as always. Close them out.
Man, it's always a pleasure. You dig what I'm saying? It's always a pleasure. Now, college basketball, so I'm looking at, man, it's a lot. I'll tell you the main ones. Idaho and the revenge spot. These are revenge spots. It's what revenge game day to you dig what I'm saying? But Idaho -3.5, Indiana State -4. Michigan, I lean Michigan. I had bet though. Coastal Carolina, North Dakota State, Northern Colorado, Morehead State, and maybe Arkansas State. Those just leans, like I say, go and check me out. Go and follow us right now, guys, on Twitter. Right now, we tweeting out the officials at J Money is Money. You can follow my guy at Sharks and Sports as well. You can also follow me on my other Twitter page at NBA Talk with One, at NBA Talk with J1. Suns, Mice 3, top play, guys. Revenge game, playoff revenge from last year. They've probably been thinking about this game since they lost that game 6 from the finals. They want to right the ship. They want to get back on the right track. They also want to show the world that they not only can hang with the Bucks, but they're better than them. So a big game, motivation spot, passion, energy spot for the Suns. And we get them at the house tonight too. Give me Suns -3, top play today. Let's get some cash. It's all love every single time. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Hit the like button, subscribe, and we out, my guys. Let's get some cash.